All right, guys, here we are. It's another 10 years of the show. Starting
Hmm.
kicking things off. Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah,
well,
yeah,
let's
yeah, yeah.
take it easy.
Jiaming's a flight risk. Come on,
I
you
know.
know that.
Let's see how the rest of this episode goes before we commit another 10 years to this.
Yeah. For all you know, I like win the lotto and suddenly like, hey, there's no more podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you win the lotto, will you really give us up?
Actually, no, I won't. If anything else, I'll like put more effort into it because I have all the time in the world now.
Oh my god, dude! Like, even if I were to randomly become famous, I would still be on the Stuff and Drunk show.
Yeah, I think that'll be great. Then we'll be able to afford advertising and all that other stuff too.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I get
yeah.
so many listeners besides Greg and Kenny.
hmm
Imagine,
Imagine,
imagine.
imagine, imagine.
Not that I don't love you, Greg and Kenny. I do.
Welcome to the Stuff and Junk Show. We share our opinions on random subjects from interesting news, social topics, pop culture, our likes and dislikes, things you've seen, heard, or read what we did, and what we did. You know, stuff and junk. Hello, my name is Albert.
Hey, now it's Jiaming.
And this is Anna.
Alright, so I have a friend. I mean, this is a story that was told to me that happened to a friend. Apparently he got scammed, right?
Mhm.
He gets a call. The call says that it was his bank, and his bank said like, "Oh, you there's some we noticed some fraudulent activity in your account,
Mhm.
and but we need to confirm that your PIN number or something like that."
Mhm.
And he went ahead and gave it to the person.
This
Oh
Right?
is a
my
phone call?
god.
This is a phone call.
Seriously? If
Oh,
he knew,
wow.
was he born yesterday?
I'm not gonna make any comment because I know the person, but
Oh my
but
god, is it Kenny? No, just
no.
kidding. No, Kenny, just kidding.
But the point is that like when I was told the story, it's like why did he pick up the phone, kind of thing. But anyways, so the day goes by, and then at the end of the day, he actually finally noticed that, hey, what happened to my phone number? Like nobody could get a hold of me, kind of thing,
Hmm.
right? So and he found out that like thousands of dollars were taken off his bank account,
Oh, my God.
right? So went to the bank and they told him like, yeah, we were trying to get a hold of you. So what seemed to be the case was, I believe I mentioned this last year, was that it is likely the scammers eventually, after getting his PIN and all that other stuff, got his SIM card essentially. Like
Mhm.
the scam here is they call your phone company and say, hey, I need to transfer a new SIM number to my phone, kind of thing, right? Can you go ahead and do that? And then if you give them enough information, they'll determine that it's you, and then they'll go ahead and do it. Now, if I remember correctly, last year one of my recommendation was to lock your SIM card to your phone, so that if you need to transfer a SIM card to a new phone, Verizon needs to make sure to get a hold of you first
It sounds
before
like
they
you're
do that.
positioning yourself, using this podcast to position yourself as a "I told you so," which I
Are
don't think is
you
appropriate. I don't find this appropriate at all.
That's not it.
or
I
are you
mean,
To your,
calling out your are you calling out your friend for not
I
listening to
know,
the show?
to
no, I
your
mean,
friend that might or may not be listening, I feel sorry for you, man. I sympathize.
I'm just saying, I never told him this information, so I
Mhm.
can't really say I told you so because I never had this discussion with him. But and he doesn't listen to the show. But
Mhm.
the point is that is one of the ways the scammers can get you.
Did he get his money back?
This is still an ongoing process, and I don't know
Mm.
if that happened yet. He had to put his account on hold to make sure that nothing else escapes it. But yeah, I mean, how many scam calls do you guys normally get? Have you guys noticed?
I get a lot recently, and also get texts like, Hey, I think I've seen this online. People have mentioned it online. But, hey, it's like, hey, you have a ticket. You know what I mean? Hit this link and then pay for this traffic ticket. So I get that a lot. I
Okay.
think I mentioned last year when I came back from China. As I went to China, Hong Kong, as I used my phone or whatever. Somehow the scammers got my number, so they've been calling me like in Chinese. And then I got one recently where the caller ID was, what was it? What's that? Kaiser. It said the caller ID said Kaiser. That's not even my health insurance, but it said
Mhm.
Kaiser HQ or something like that. And the guy's on the other end, so I picked up because I recognized Kaiser obviously. And the guy spoke everything in Chinese. I said, blah, 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 you do it. We noticed that you filled out some questionnaires earlier this year. I'm like, what are you talking about? Kaiser's not my not my insurance. Why are you speaking Chinese to me? Blah blah blah. So eventually, I stayed on longer on the phone than I normally do because, like I said, it's a Kaiser's ID. So anyway, eventually I said, you know what, this is weird. This is weird. I'm hanging up. So I hang up and I look at the number. I Google the number, the 800 number. It is Kaiser's like 800 number in San Francisco.
Mhm.
It's just like they've gotten really sophisticated, really
Yeah.
I don't know, really outrageous and stuff like that. So yeah,
Scammers can spoof numbers, and that's a fact. That's true.
yeah. The thing that my lack of Chinese, this just actually saved my life because, like I said, half the time I didn't know what he was saying. Also, I was thinking, why would Kaiser's what do you call it, customer service call me back in Chinese and stuff like that? You know, it doesn't make any sense. Anyway, it's just wild. Just from now on, just ignore every call.
Yeah, that's what I do. And it's funny because I actually had to call my bank this past week because someone got a hold of my debit card information and
Mhm.
they, tried a transaction, and I called my bank, and my spam screening app was like spam likely for the number that I typed in that's on the back of my debit card for the fraud department.
Hmm.
And it was so funny. I'm like, well, at least I know it works, but
Yeah,
I saved it into my phone just
Mhm.
so like it would stop saying like spam alert, spam alert. But yeah, I have a thing, and like it'll just tell me like the call, like they call like 5 times in a row
yeah,
because my it doesn't go through. And then for whatever reason, I think my voicemail doesn't work anymore. So half the time, like people just can't get through. They just can't get to me. And unless you're my mom or in
Yeah.
my contacts, you're in luck. Everyone else, nope, you can't get a hold of me. Sorry.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. That's how I have my phone set up too. It's like if you're not on my contact list, there's no way I'm gonna even know you're calling me. And the only time that I know when somebody's calling me, like last week when my doctor tried to call me, and apparently they used a different number that isn't in my contact list. They had to talk. They had to tell Google who they were, kind of thing. And
mhm,
then Google rang my phone and finally
Yeah.
gave me the
yeah,
notification. I'm like, oh, okay. So it's like, yeah, it's crazy. Like you hear all this scam stuff, and honestly, I'm kind of like in the pixel land, so I never had to deal with spam. So it's like it's nuts how it's gotten so much worse now. But yeah,
mhm,
It's scary. It's scary. I really have to remind my mom, like, 'cause she starts freaking out. I'm like, it's a scam. It's a scam. Be careful. Don't answer the phone.
yeah, that's
So
actually a
yeah.
good point though. Like I think generally people shouldn't just answer the phone if it's a number they don't recognize, and I think this also
mhm,
applies to like door to door people. Like
mhm,
Yeah.
I've seen like, okay, I have access to my parents' Ring camera because they told me to have access to it, so I can also monitor it once in a while. And there was like one of those people, I'm assuming they were selling something or whatever, and they rang their doorbell, so my phone picks up like, oh, there's somebody there. All right, just ignore it. And then my mom is like answering back. I'm like, what are you doing?
Stop
Don't
answering.
answer it back. It's like, yeah, it's like, yeah,
It's scary.
it is scary. It is scary. All right. Um, it's the 865th episode of the show, and as of this recording, it's currently 8:10 p.m., April 2025 in Evansville, Indiana. And it's time we take a look and see what's up.
What's up?
I keep
I
forgetting.
was wait. I
That was
thought
a
Jiaming
Ruthie
was gonna
thing.
do it.
I thought
No, but
Ruthie's gonna do it.
then Jiaming does it when Ruthie's not here.
I
He
think
was
Ruthie.
quiet.
I think Ruthie should do her job. Blame her.
So mean.
I keep forgetting. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Ruthie's not here.
What?
Yeah. Anyways, in Evansville, Indiana, there is the situation with a restaurant and a plumber, right? So apparently, this restaurant is this. I think this Asian restaurant was having their pipes really clogged up, right? So they called the plumber.
Mhm,
Plumber shows up, fixes it, and then it happens again, right? Like a few days later, it gets clogged up again, and then they call the same plumber, and then they go like, hey, we have an emergency clog, and can you redrain it again? The guy goes back, fixes it, and then when the restaurant owner sees the bill is more expensive than the last time, even though it's the same exact job,
mhm,
right? So he calls him up, hey, like I'm not gonna pay for this. This is more expensive. Like
yeah.
what are you doing, kind of thing. So what the plumber does, he goes back and puts a balloon in
Mhm,
the clog in the drain to reclog the pipe.
mhm,
Have you heard anything like this before?
yeah. I saw the
Yes, I
video.
have.
I
I
saw it
have.
online. Yeah.
So
They filmed the guy putting the balloon in and basically reclogging it and stuff like that.
yeah, yeah. So the
I
question. So initially, I was a little like, well, the plumber shouldn't do that. But at the same time, I guess it's a situation where if the plumber deems it like an emergency repair kind of situation, they can overcharge you because it's like,
Mhm.
it's like getting an ambulance. It's like an extra pay for a speedy
Yeah.
service kind of thing. Um, so whose side are you actually on in this situation? Should the
Uh,
restaurant pay for this, or should the plumber not have done that?
can I use my example?
Yes, yes, use your
Like,
example.
because I actually have experienced this.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So at my current job, okay, at my job,
Hmm.
we're a maintenance provider, but there are some things that we can't do. So we had a storm drain, where it's called a vault, and so someone illegally dumped human waste in there. We
Typical.
don't take care of that. We have to get like a sewer maintenance company to do that. Anyway, so I had to facilitate that. And then they signed a contract. They were like, okay, this is the amount of sewage that we expect to take out. Um, and they approved it, whatever. Lo and behold, the day that they get there, it turns out there's a lot more. And the company is telling the property manager, like, if you don't pay, we're just gonna dump everything back in there because it's more than we thought. So you have to pay like an additional blah 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 blah. And I don't know why, but I had to facilitate the conversation and I had to call the guy and he's just like, "Well, I'm gonna dump the whole thing. So you have 10 minutes to get them to approve, or else I'm just gonna dump everything back in there." Um, and honestly speaking, I'm on the side of the customer, because that's just like it's just shady. You could just say, okay, like, we expect a little bit more. Just don't hang it over them and be like, you have 10 minutes to decide, or we're gonna dump everything back. Because it's like, okay, you just spent 4 hours there. Like, don't you at least want to get paid some of the work that you've done, or are you just gonna call it a wash? So I'm on the customer side. I think it's messed up that they go back and do that, and like they willy-nilly be like, all right, I'm just gonna re-clog your toilet and stuff. I don't
Mm.
know. I don't particularly like that kind of um scare tactic to
Yeah.
use on customers, because at the end of the day, it is, I know, I understand it's money and all that, but you're like forcing them to be like,
In your
okay, well,
instance, did they pay?
yes, I no, you know what? I honestly don't remember because it was like 4 years ago, but I want to say I finally calmed the guy down enough to accept that he was being like he was being predatory, and I
Mhm.
think they ended up just finishing the job because they were there like 4 or 6 hours. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you're gonna get paid, but you can't act like this. So, but yeah, I'm on the customer side.
Where do you use that, Jiaming?
Well, I need a little bit more information because I saw this thing online, but I didn't understand. I didn't kind of scroll through it. So, what is the sequence of scenarios? Is it basically the guy came in to unclog it,
And it was
and
a clog. Yeah.
yeah, it was unclogged. Is the restaurant saying that when he came back the second time, it was because he didn't do a good job of the first one, or is it a different kind of a clog? You know what I mean?
Oh, no, no.
Uh,
So what happened was, so it was clogged. Restaurant
mhm.
called the plumber. Plumber fixed it. A few days later, it gets clogged again. Restaurant calls the plumber
Not
again.
not because of improper unclogging the first
I
time. You know what I
believe the
mean?
restaurant is not claiming that.
Mhm,
I don't know if that is true or not. But
mhm.
the restaurant is not claiming that. He just says he
Okay.
doesn't want to pay the extra payment.
So
Yeah,
let's just put that aside. Okay, so
yeah,
let's just assume that it is the first job he did a good job. He came back the second time, and the reason why he's charging more the second time is because it was an urgent job and stuff like that,
correct.
and that he had. I think it's fair for him to charge him more if it's urgent, especially if the first time he came. It was on like a sort of a regular schedule. You know what I mean? If the
Yeah,
first time he came, he said, "Oh, I'll be there in 24 hours," and he accepted. And the second time he came, he said, "Can you be here like in 2 hours?" So then he
yeah,
comes into. I think that's fair for him to charge him more for expedited service, just like any other business, like Uber or whatever. You know what I mean? There's instances where you can pay, you can charge more. But I don't think, like Anna said, I don't think it's a classic thing to do to be so predatory and put
yeah.
it. What do you call it? I understand.
Put the
I
balloon in
understand.
the pipe.
Yeah, that's a bit much. You know what I mean?
That's
I
a bit much.
understand.
Yeah,
Yeah, I understand some construction people. I don't know if this falls into construction. Construction people get mad because they do this entire job and not get paid, and they're thousands and thousands of dollars in debt. You know what I mean? And then they go back and bust up the construction site. You see videos of those, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think unclogging a pipe falls under that kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like this guy was never going to get paid. He might not pay for X amount of dollars, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying I don't think you should just go ahead and stick a balloon and clog it and destroy business and all that stuff.
I think
it's a bit much.
I think the plumber could have just gone and said, well, if you're not going to pay it, the creditors would have to be involved, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think purposely making it so that it's going to get clogged and maybe even worse feels like it's so risky. Because what if it does get worse? Then the damage gets even worse, and then the restaurant can now sue it. Yeah,
and also in this era of sort of viral videos and public opinion, there's no video of him talking about charging them extra. You know what I mean? Like, hey, this is gonna be extra pay, and all this is the reason why. There's gonna be a video of you know what I mean? But there's gonna be a video of him sticking something in a thing and clogging it, right? Correct. That's gonna go viral. You know what I mean? Yeah. But just common sense would tell you, like, hey, maybe be cool about it, diffuse the situation. You know what I mean? But I also understand that some people don't want to go through small claims court because it's a pain in the ass. It takes time. It takes for X amount of dollars. I think the onus is on the plumber and stuff like that. He could have found it. You know what I mean? So he found an easier way. It's like, hey, instead of paying $100 extra, okay, we'll just compromise at $50. Don't call me again if this happens again. You know what I mean? He could have done that. You know what I mean?
I do feel like the restaurant should have just paid for it. I mean, he may complain that it's more expensive, but I mean, he called him on an emergency case, like, hey, you got to do this really quick. Yeah. I mean, he should expect it to be more, right?
Yeah.
So
but sometimes they'll be like, all right, the emergency charge is going to be $350 an hour. Like they kind of get like a heads up, like it's going to be expensive, so they know. So he probably did like an additional extra emergency charge, which that's where I'm like, okay, you're being predatory because like they need it and they're going like they already approved it once. So what's an additional $200 or something?
Yeah, it's true. There should be some agreement in advance. I think that would have solved the problem. The plumber could have been up front. Hey, you made an emergency call. I'm going to charge you extra. They should have been upfront about those kind of things.
And both sides could just said, you know what? I was going to charge you extra $300. Let's compromise at $150. And the thing is, you never call me again. You know what I mean? Then this is the end of our business. That way, both parties go away losing something more. You know what I mean? Like they could just done that. You know what I mean? The guy could have also left like a bad Yelp review with both sides. Both sides could have left a bad Yelp review. I don't think it should have got to a point where it went viral and stuff like that. Because like I said, everything we discussed, everything we talked about. At the end of the day, I saw that thing when I was scrolling through TikTok. You know what I mean? I saw the guy stick a little thing in the drain. Yeah. So yeah. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. Okay. I think both ends should have like figured it out before it got bad. But it's like the restaurant person was the one who called the media on this. So, anyways, over in Chelsea, Michigan, there is this bookstore that has to move 9,100 books to a new store a block away. Anna, you're the book person. Would you like to guess how they moved 9,100 books to a block away to a different store?
A block away?
Yes.
How many books again?
9,100.
I don't know. I have to think about this.
Like, how would you do it?
The way I did it, and I have close to like, how many books do I have? I have like 200 books. No, 100, maybe 150. I don't know. I have a lot of books. The way I did it when I moved 10 minutes away, I had to move them I just put them in tote bags and put them on a cart, like, from my car to my place. I just transported via tote bags all by myself. It took a whole day, but no one was going to help me because my parents said it's my fault.
And that was like 100, 200 books, right?
Yeah, something like that. So I don't think they're going to use tote bags. Maybe they're going to use like, I don't know, because books are so delicate and you can't trust movers to not, I don't know, maybe like some sort of like crate system.
Okay.
That's what I'm going with.
So the solution they pulled off here was they got 300 people who stood in two lines running along the sidewalk from the first bookstore to the next bookstore where he's gonna go to, and they just literally just passed the book over. 300 people. So 150 people in both
I
lines,
love that.
and they just like kept passing books along until they got to the store. Imagine that. And there's a video on the show notes if you guys want to click on the link there. And I thought this is like a nice, warm-hearted story kind of here. It's like that's pretty cool. That's a good idea. They got the
I love that
community,
story.
yeah, they got the community involved, and they went ahead and pulled it off with ease. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, America.
That's one way to say it. Yeah. I love that for them.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. So I read this article and I thought this was a horrible idea, and the article even says it's a horrible idea. New Facebook tech will encourage people to use their phones in movie theaters. So,
Oh God.
Megan 2.0 is coming out, and Blumhouse is re-releasing the first Megan movie to theaters, M3 right? And so essentially, what they're doing is they're teaming up with Facebook, and they're gonna have an AI chatbot that presumably is gonna be like Megan, but not Megan, AI chatbot. So the way it's supposed to work is the new tech will let moviegoers use their mobile phones as a second screen while watching Megan in theater. The idea is that people in the theater will be able to use their phone to chat with a Megan team AI chatbot, answering trivia questions and read behind the scenes tidbits while watching the movie.
Who approved this? Blumhouse approved this?
Yeah, Blumhouse and Facebook are doing
They
this.
teamed up and they approved it. What is this nonsense, man?
And this is supposed to be for a special screening of the first Megan movie. I'm pretty sure, I'm hoping so. It's not going to be for the second one. But for this special screening,
Oh, okay.
this is what they're
So it's
letting people
so
do.
it's a specific screening and stuff like that. So going into it that this is going to happen.
Sounds
That's a little bit. That's a little bit different. All right. I was watching a basketball game. I was half listening. I thought it was like for the new movie and stuff like that, or it's going to be for. Or they're not let you know ahead of time. But if it's for the old movie, and if it's what do you call it? If it's like if people walking,
they're upfront about it, right?
Yeah, that's not that big deal.
But
I mean, it's stupid. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I'd rather punch myself in the face and go to the screening, but still, as long as they're upfront about it, it's fine.
I feel like this is also them testing the techno for possible future uses, though, and that's what I'm concerned about.
Look at
why
that.
would they be doing this unless
Look at that.
there's some like down the line reasoning for it, right?
Should be a lawyer.
But
Your Honor, the setting precedents.
But I think that's probably going to be like special screenings. They might have like phone free ones. I don't know. It seems like it's another cash grab.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised by it. These scary horror movies, you guys are weird and you like weird things. So sounds about right.
I'm just concerned. I feel like
and also in the age of like what do you call it, new rock stars, Stream Crush, where they kind of like do all the Easter eggs and trivia and stuff like that. Seems completely unnecessary. You know what I mean? And I don't know what you can possibly gain from what do you call it, listening to this like just behind the scenes stuff. I don't think that big a deal.
The next step to this kind of tech would be like in conventions when they're showing a screening of something, and then they go, "All right, bust out your phones. We're gonna do this little exercise while you're watching the movie." I'm like, "Oh no, no, oh no!" Like when they do.
I feel like that's already happened before. I'm not surprised by this. Like it's a thing. It's always been a thing.
Besides checking basketball scores, I have never had the inclination to take out my phone. Checking basketball scores is bad enough on my part. I never sat there and said, you know what? Let's put this movie on pause. Let me look at this. Look at this. Let me look at something on my phone.
I'm not surprised by this. I feel like it's a thing. Like they've been trying to make this a thing for years.
Yeah. Well, I think as far as back as in the 90s when they had like VH1 pop-up video. Remember that, Jiaming?
Oh, yeah. I love VH1 pop-up videos. Yeah.
So, I don't remember too. Okay. I thought
hey now.
I thought you had to be a certain age, but yeah, it's kind of like that, right? Like, why isn't VH1 pop-up video doing that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and that's what's up. You can find this podcast on Instagram, Blue Sky Threads, and YouTube at Stuff Junk Show. You can find me, Albert, on Instagram and Letterboxd at Albert5x5.
You can find me on social media, JIAMINGLOU.
You can find me on social media at Anna Voltage or on my other show, Most Extreme Ranking Challenge.
Music has been provided by Gloom and June. Updates, contact info, ways to support us, and everything else on the show notes found on whowhatwhereswhy.com. Before wrapping things up, I do want to address the whole IMAX thing again. Just because me and Derek got into extensive conversation about it again on our group chat. So Ryan Coogler set up this YouTube video with Kodak, actually,
Mhm.
explaining the different film formats and all that stuff, and how he's gonna combine CinemaScope and IMAX together into Sinners and all that stuff. Blah 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 blah. And it was like a 10-minute video on YouTube. The first thing that kind of annoyed me a little bit was when I look at the comments, people are going, "Oh wow, I came into this video thinking that Ryan Coogler was going to talk about this movie, but I came out watching a masterclass video about filmmaking." And I'm like, get over yourself. That's just an explainer video. Is that a school? It's not a class. Like, anyways, it comes down again to not spoiling the movie, but there's only maybe like 15 minutes of of Sinners in full screen IMAX, which is the whole thing that I like to go to. And I drove like 35 to 40 miles just to have this experience, and all I got out of this 2 hours and 17-minute movie is 15 minutes of that. And I think people need to stop. Just stop using IMAX. Stop using the full screen IMAX thing, because 99.5% of everybody is not gonna be able to experience that, and I'd rather not deal with it. Christopher Nolan, stop it. Knock it off. There, that's my 2 cents. That's all. All right. This was. Oh, I'm sorry. You guys want to comment on that?
No,
No, no. Okay.
no, it's not that big a deal. I, I saw
I know
I saw
you're
that
so
same
mad. I know you're so mad. I know
I
you're
saw
so
that
mad.
same video on YouTube, and it's not that big a deal. Like I've said this before. At the end of the day, all I care about is like comfortable seat. If it's an IMAX, it's an IMAX. Look, that's my threshold. If it's good surround sound, that's the limit of how much I care. I appreciate how much these directors put put their thought into IMAX and all that, the 70 millimeter, whatever. But my limit doesn't go that high. My limit is, like I said, a comfortable seat, good big screen. Other than that, that's not that big a deal. You know what I mean? It's the same thing when what do you call it? When Peter Jackson tried to do the frame rate thing, try to make that happen. It's the same thing when James Cameron tried to push 3D. No, it's okay. I don't really care that much. It's not interesting to me. What interests me is what the movie's about, the themes, and all that. So that's the thing that interests me. Everything else, the technical stuff has stopped, like I said, at a comfortable chair.
Okay. I just wish Ryan Coogler would have been upfront about it. Like, there's only this much of full screen IMAX, and then I would have
Yeah.
saved myself the time. All right. I mean, I like the movie, but yeah, I wouldn't have driven that far. Okay.
Well, that's on you, man. What do you want Ryan Coogler to do, man? Refund your gas money? Oh, what's up
I
you?
wanted him to be
You
upfront that it wasn't
you
like
commit yourself. You do the research. I don't know. You figure it out.
Christopher Nolan set a standard. Okay, if half the movie is not in full screen IMAX, then don't do it at all. Okay.
I feel like obviously Ryan Coogler, like, you know, they promoted something that was not 100% accurate. Your mistake was thinking everybody wants to be right, like Christopher Nolan, and you know, serve the technology right, and these mofo's don't care.
No, well, they cared. I mean, he was talking about how I talked to Christopher Nolan and I asked him how he used the
Yeah,
big giant
and
IMAX cameras to do blah blah blah.
yeah, I mean, he probably gonna tell Christopher Nolan, "Hey, I'm only using it for like 2 minutes,
Yeah.
so you know, thank you, dude." And you know, it was probably like a 2 minute conversation. Like, "Hey, man, I'm gonna be using the camera. Oh, cool. Bye."
I mean, the Dark Knight that came out almost 20 years ago had more full screen IMAX than a movie that came out in 2025. For God's sakes. So yeah. Okay. This was episode 865 of the Stuff and Junk Show. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, this podcast has been a Who What Where's Why production. Nothing.
Or you're not gonna try to force after credits?
I don't want to have to force after credits, but you guys should not say anything.
Hey, I'm not the one forcing it.
Okay, that'll be our after credits. All right. I forgot to do this part actually. This is in Evansville, Indiana. Okay, hold on. What time is it in Evansville, Indiana? You guys know?
Oh, you're asking us?
No. Google the answer. 8:10. It's 8:10 right now in Evansville.
Yeah, it's in Central Time Zone. Yeah, so it's 2 hours ahead.
I don't know. I'm not very good at where the states are in America, so I can't really give you.
What the hell is going on here? This is part of
I
the show.
can't tell I can't tell time.
I don't. Have we started the show?
It's a
What's
running
going
joke.
on?
Remember when we do segments that involves like where the states
Geography?
are, geography, and I'm like I have no
Basic
idea.
American geography. All right, I guess. All right.
For whatever reason, I know they say like if you're OCD, you're very good with maps. I'm good at maps when I'm looking at it. But I don't have it in my head per se. Not necessarily, unless I know the area kind of thing.
Oh my god, someone is completely zoned out of this show.